guys, in this month's top 5, I'm going to be sharing with you some of my favorite books that I won from Goodreads. So I feel like I have to explain what I mean by that if it's not really obvious. Goodreads. I think most of us on BookTube, we go to Goodreads. It's how we store the books we read, where we put all of our reviews, how we shelve them, and this and that. Yeah, Goodreads is a great, awesome site, and Goodreads also has a little section where you can sign up to win free books. Yay, everyone loves a free book, right? So yeah, I definitely utilize the Goodreads giveaways to my advantage. I have won, I'm not exaggerating you guys, I was looking at my shelf, because I do have a shelf full of all of the books that I have won from Goodreads. I have won 40 books from Goodreads, you guys. I've been doing Goodreads since 2011, I want to say. So yeah, over that span of time, from 2011 to 2017, yeah, I've won 40 books in total. And the thing that I like about winning a book off of Goodreads, I like when a book surprises me, and I end up really enjoying the book that I won, because sometimes I'll sign up for a book if it does sound good, but I'm not quite sure, oh, will I really sit and buy this in the future, you know? So yeah, winning a book is a good way to read a book, and then yeah, if you don't like it, then you didn't waste the money off of it, you won it for free. But then yeah, there's also the pleasant surprise, the joy of winning a book, and then wow, you actually really love it. So that's what this top 5 list is. It's 5 books that I've won from Goodreads, 5 books that just really were outstanding, and they surprised me. I guess also what I wanted to do with this top 5, books that I'm glad I won them. You know what I mean? I'm really glad that I won these books, because on my own, I don't think I would have physically bought them and picked them up. So, it's a good thing I won the book. So, does that make sense? I hope this makes sense. I feel like I'm kind of rambling. At number 5, I have Bloodsong by Anthony Ryan, and this is the first book in the Raven's Shadow trilogy. And the reason I initially signed up to win this book, it definitely looked like some sort of medieval fantasy-esque book, something that was reminding me of Game of Thrones, for instance. But yeah, I'm really glad I won this book, because even though I do love fantasy, I just don't know if I would have ever picked this up on my own, to be quite honest. So yeah, I'm really glad I won it. I have yet to finish the trilogy, unfortunately. I've only read this first book. I do own books 2 and 3. Can't wait to finish this entire series. But yeah, if you don't know what Bloodsong is about, like I said, it takes place in a fantasy world, but, you know, kind of closely connected to medieval society in a way. And it follows our leading protagonist named Valen, and when he's a child, he's dropped off at this this mysterious order that trains young boys to become warriors. So yeah, this whole novel, it focuses on Valen and his journey from childhood to adulthood, and the amazing, awesome warrior he becomes. And Valen is very much like Jon Snow. For instance, if I had to compare Valen to another fantasy character, it would definitely be Jon Snow from Game of Thrones. They share some certain similarities with one another. So yeah, if you like Jon Snow from Game of Thrones, you'll definitely probably really like this trilogy, I think. At number 4, I have America's First Daughter by Stephanie Dray and Laura Kamoe. And the reason I'm glad I won this book as well, I'm normally not really into to American historical fiction, which may sound weird to you guys because I'm American, obviously. You would think I would be into American historical fiction, but I'm really not. My primary interest in historical fiction, I really enjoy European historical fiction more than anything. Why, I don't know, to be quite honest. I don't know. So yeah, I'm glad I won this book because this book was so stunning, so amazing. It was in my top 5 list for this year of my favorite books that I read last year in 2016. The writing in this was stunning and gorgeous, and this follows an American woman that I wasn't really familiar with. And yeah, this novel, if you don't know what it's about, it follows the oldest daughter of Thomas Jefferson, and her name is Patsy Jefferson. And yeah, her relationship with her father, Thomas Jefferson, and the secrets she has to keep, and the fact that she has to deal with her father's hypocrisies and this and that. So yeah, a really amazing novel about the early days of America following this young woman. At number 3, I have The Ghost Bride by Yangzi Chu, and oh man, I'm so glad I won this book, you guys. This book just pleasantly surprised me on so many levels. A really great story, a great protagonist, and just a concept I wasn't familiar with either. This novel is about a young girl who's kind of forced into marrying somebody. But here's the twist. The person that she is marrying is a dead guy. How crazy is that? And apparently this was like a real thing during this time period, because it takes place in 1890s Malaysia. Yeah, following a 17-year-old girl, her being forced into this marriage. She has to become a ghost bride. Yeah, and there's just a lot of mythology to this story, bringing in some of the gods of Asian mythology, I suppose. So yeah, a really amazing story. I had so much fun with this. Highly recommend it. Especially if you're intrigued on the idea of a ghost bride and what that means and how the girl goes about coping with that. And yeah, is she going to go through with it or is she not? At number 2, I have Stacie, Empress on Her Own by Alison Pataki. And once again, I am so glad I won this book. I believe this was my favorite book of 2016, if I'm remembering correctly. My favorite book of the whole year. This book follows Empress Elizabeth, or Stacie as she is more commonly known, who married Emperor Franz Joseph of Austria-Hungary. And the way Empress Elizabeth is often described, she's described as kind of being the Princess Diana of her era. And yeah, this takes place during I think the late 1800s, if I'm recalling correctly. And this follows the second half of her life after her marriage has kind of crumbled. She's lost her children, even though her children are grown up, but she has still lost her children in some fashion. And yeah, she's just craving alone time for herself, and she's really eccentric, and yeah, she has to deal with rebellion around her, people who want the monarchy abolished. So yeah, a lot going on in this novel. And yeah, I'm so glad I won this novel because I am someone who loves European history, like I said earlier, but I am not familiar at all with Empress Elizabeth of Austria-Hungary. I just learned something new about her on every page, and I found her such an incredible and intelligent and stunning, captivating woman. And at number 1, I have A Teaspoon of Earthen Sea by Dinah Nahari. Whew, yeah guys, I am so glad I won this book. I mean, seriously, this is definitely the type of book I would not have picked up on my own. I am ashamed to say. This book, it takes place in 1980s Iran. Normally a subject matter I'm not really normally interested in by any means. But oh wow, just a stunning, gripping, emotional novel following this young girl as she matures into a young woman over the course of the 80s and then going into the 90s. And yet it follows this young girl who she's obsessed with American culture. She loves all things American, American music, American television. But yeah, here she is living in post-revolutionary 1980s Iran. She has no rights because she's a woman. She's not allowed to have any opinions. She has to dress a certain way. She has to believe a certain way. And yet she wants to be herself. She wants to get out of Iran. She wants to go to America, but it's near an impossibility for her. So this whole novel is just her emotional journey, her emotional story as she's living in 1980s Iran, and yeah, dealing with the fact that she feels as if her sister and her mother abandoned her years ago, because that's another big plot point. When she's a little girl, she thinks she remembers her mother and sister leaving her because they're going to America for some mysterious reason, but they have left her behind, and she's confused about why she's left behind. So yeah, there's a lot of intricate plot points going on in this novel, and yeah, at the end of the day, it's just an incredibly captivating emotional story about this young woman, and yeah, 1980s Iran, just the turbulence going on there. And yeah, I highly recommend this book, you guys. I am just so glad I won this book. I read this book for the first time this year. I imagine this is going to be my favorite book of the year. Not gonna lie, maybe too soon to predict that, but right now this is my favorite book that I've read so far this year. So yeah, you guys, in the comments below, are you familiar with the Goodreads Giveaways section? If you have won quite a lot of books, what books have you won off of the site that you were like, wow, I'm so glad I won this book because I would have never picked this book up on my own. So that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you like this video, you may like these other videos. Bye guys.